Daughter. The first time I realized my mother was ashamed of me, I was 12 years old. A teacher had called home to praise my essay that won a school competition. My mother listened on the phone, said that's nice, and hung up. Then she turned to my sister and said, "Your ballet recital is next week, sweetheart. I've invited all the neighbors." I learned early. Achievements only mattered if they looked good in photos. By the time I was 18, I understood the math of our family. My brother, the lawyer in training, was the pride. My sister, the marketing guru with her Instagram aesthetic, was the showcase. And me? I was the one who didn't make the cut for the family newsletter. So when I took a job at the local manufacturing plant after high school, I knew what would happen. I just didn't know how bad it would get. The factory and the shame. It wasn't a failure. I worked 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., operated machinery, inspected parts, and took pride in building things that actually existed in the real world. My hands were calloused. My nails were never clean. But I slept well at night. My mother couldn't look at my hands. "Can't you find something in an office?" she'd ask every holiday. "Your cousin's daughter works at a bank. She wears suits. I like my job," I'd say. She'd change the subject. Then came the Christmas that broke something in me. We were taking the annual family photo. My mother positioned everyone carefully. My brother and his fiancée in the center, my sister artfully leaning on the arm of the sofa, my father standing stiffly behind them. I stood at the edge. The photographer, a friend of my sister's, counted down. 3, 2, 1. My mother held up her hand. "Wait." She walked over to me, adjusted my collar, smiled tightly. Then she whispered, "Try not to be in the shot. Stand behind your brother. Just blend in." I moved. The photo went up on the wall the next week. I was barely visible, a shadow behind my brother's shoulder. My mother told guests. The lighting was tricky that day. That was the moment I started planning my exit. The erasure. Over the next 2 years, I watched it happen in slow motion. First, the graduation photos disappeared from the living room. Then the school portraits from the hallway. Then, one by one, every trace of me from the family photo albums. My mother didn't throw them away. She just moved them to the attic. Out of sight. At family gatherings, conversations would drift around me like water around a stone. If someone asked about me, my mother would say, "Oh, she works at the factory," with a smile that said, "Let's not dwell on that." My siblings followed her lead. My brother stopped calling. My sister unfollowed me on Instagram. Too embarrassing, I guess, to have a factory worker in her carefully curated feed. The breaking point came 3 years ago, Mother's Day. I called a week ahead, offered to cook brunch at my apartment. Small, casual. My mother said she'd check her schedule. The day before, I saw my sister's Instagram story, a table set for 10 at an expensive restaurant. Balloons, flowers, a caption, "Setting up for the Queen." Best Mother's Day ever. No one had called me. I called my brother. "Am I supposed to be at that restaurant?" Long pause. Mom said it might be better if you didn't come. She doesn't want to answer questions about your job? You know how her friends are. I did know. I hung up, sat on my kitchen floor, and cried until I couldn't breathe. Then I stopped crying, and I made a decision. The disappearing act. I didn't announce anything. I didn't send a dramatic text or a farewell letter. I just stopped. Stopped calling. Stopped showing up. Stopped checking the family group chat that never included me anyway. For the first few months, no one noticed. Or if they did, they didn't say anything. I threw myself into my work. Took extra shifts, learned new skills, made friends with people who didn't care what my last name was or where I came from. I started writing at night. Not for anyone, just for me. Stories about a girl who built her own family out of people who stayed. My apartment was small. My car was old, but no one in my life made me feel small. And that was worth more than any inheritance. The inheritance, 2 years passed. Then my grandmother died, Nana. My father's mother was the only one who ever saw me. She'd worked in a textile mill for 40 years. She knew what honest labor looked like. When I visited her, she'd hold my hands, trace my calluses, and say, "These are good hands. They've made things. Don't let anyone tell you different." At her funeral, I stood alone. My mother wore black and played the grieving daughter-in-law beautifully. My brother delivered a eulogy about Nana's generations of wisdom. My sister posted a black and white photo with a tearful caption. I stood at the back, said my own goodbye, and prepared to leave. But the funeral director approached me. "There's a reading of the will tomorrow. You're specifically requested to attend." My mother overheard. Her face went pale. "Requested by whom?" "By the deceased," the director said. She left instructions. The reading. The lawyer's office smelled like old books and lemon polish. My mother sat stiff-backed in a leather chair. My brother checked his phone. My sister adjusted her hair for photos she'd never post. The lawyer opened a folder. "To my son," he read, "I leave my savings account to be divided equally among his children's education funds." My brother nodded, satisfied. "To my granddaughter in marketing," the lawyer continued, "I leave my jewelry and my collection of vintage handbags." My sister beamed. "To my daughter-in-law," the lawyer said, glancing at my mother, "I leave a letter to be opened privately." My mother frowned. "That's it? Just a letter?" The lawyer ignored her. He turned to me. "And to my granddaughter who works with her hands," he said softly, "I leave my house, the one on Mill Street, and a box she kept under her bed, marked with your name." The silence was deafening. My mother stood up. "That's absurd. That house has been in the family for generations. It should stay in the family." "It is staying in the family," the lawyer said. "It's going to her granddaughter. She doesn't even," my mother stopped herself. "Doesn't even what?" I asked quietly. She wouldn't look at me. "The letters." The house was small and perfect. Creaky porch, overgrown garden, the smell of lavender and old wood. I sat on Nana's bed and opened the box. Letters. Dozens of them. All addressed to me. The first was dated 2 weeks after I stopped coming to family gatherings. "My dearest girl," it read, "I noticed you weren't at Sunday dinner. Your mother said you were busy with work. But I know that look in your eyes. I wore it myself for 30 years. The look of being invisible in a room full of people who should see you. I'm writing this because I'm afraid to send it. Your mother checks my mail, but I need you to know I see you. I always have, and I am so proud of the woman you're becoming. Work is not shame. Work is dignity. Never forget that." I cried reading it. Then I opened the next. "Your brother got engaged. Your sister bought a new car. Your mother talks about them constantly. But when I ask about you, she changes the subject. So I'll ask you directly, how are you? Are you eating well? Do you have enough blankets for winter? I'm keeping this house warm for you. One day, it will be yours, and you'll never have to be invisible again." Letter after letter. 2 years of them. Weekly updates, words of encouragement, quiet observations about the family she loved but didn't always understand. She wrote about my mother's fears, my brother's insecurities, my sister's desperation for approval. She wrote about her own regrets, the things she wished she'd said, the battles she wished she'd fought. The last letter was dated 3 days before she died. "My darling girl, I'm tired now. The doctor says it won't be long. But I'm not afraid. I've lived a good life, worked hard, loved deeply. The house is yours, not as a reward, but as a reminder. You deserve a place that never asked you to be someone else. One more thing. There's a safe behind the loose board in the closet. The combination is your birthday. Inside, you'll find something that belongs to you. Your mother hid it years ago. I found it and kept it safe. Be happy, my love. That's the only revenge worth taking. All my love, always, Nana." The safe, I found the loose board easily. Behind it was a small wall safe. I spun the combination, 0712, my birthday, and opened it. Inside was a photograph, not just any photograph, the one my mother had taken down years ago, the one from my high school graduation, me in my cap and gown, holding my diploma, smiling with Nana at my side. We looked so happy, so proud. Behind the photo was a letter from my father. He'd died when I was 10, and my mother rarely spoke of him. To my youngest daughter, it read, "If you're reading this, I'm gone. But I need you to know something your mother will never tell you. You were my favorite. Not because I loved the others less, but because you reminded me most of my own mother. You have her hands. Strong. Capable. Honest. Don't let anyone make you feel small for working hard. Don't let anyone erase you. I'm watching. I'm proud. Always. Dad." I held that letter for an hour before I could move. The call, 6 months later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. "Hello? It's me," my brother's voice, strained and tired. "Look, Mom's in trouble. Bad investments. She borrowed money from the wrong people. They're threatening to take the house. She asked me to call you." I said nothing. "You have Nana's house now. It's worth something. Could you help? Just temporarily. She's your mother." I thought about the years of invisibility, the photos taken down, the Mother's Day I spent alone, the whispers at family gatherings, the shame in her eyes every time she looked at my hands. Then I thought about Nana's letters, about my father's words, about the house that had become my sanctuary. "I'm sorry she's struggling," I said. "I truly am. No one deserves to lose their home." "So you'll help?" "No." The silence stretched. "That's cold," he finally said. "She's family." "No," I said quietly. "Family is the woman who wrote me letters for 2 years and never sent them because she was afraid of my mother. Family is the father who left me a letter saying he was proud of me, even though my mother hid it. Family is the grandmother who left me a house so I'd always have a place to belong. Your mother stopped being my family the day she erased me from every photograph. The day she told me to stand behind you so no one would see me. The day she decided my worth was measured by my job title." "She's changed," he said weakly. "Has she? Has she called me once in 2 years? Has she asked how I'm doing? Has she ever, even once, said she was proud of me?" Silence. "That's what I thought," I said. "I'm not her daughter anymore. I'm just the factory worker she erased. Tell her. I hope she finds peace. But not at my expense." I hung up. The lesson, that was a year ago. I still live in Nana's house. I still work at the factory, though now I'm a supervisor. I still write at night, stories about invisible people who find their way home. My mother's house was sold at auction. She lives with my sister now, in a cramped apartment, sleeping on a pull-out couch. My brother's marriage fell apart. My sister's Instagram following dropped after she posted one too many sponsored posts. I don't say that to gloat. I genuinely wish them well. But I've learned something important. You can't build your life on making others feel small. Eventually, the foundation crumbles. Last month, I got a letter. Handwritten. From my mother. It said, "I found some old photos in the attic. You were in a lot of them. I'm sorry I took them down. I'm sorry for a lot of things. If you ever want to talk, I'm here." I read it 3 times. Then I put it in the box with Nana's letters and my father's note. I haven't called. Maybe someday I will. Maybe I'll drive to that cramped apartment and sit with her and listen to whatever she has to say. Maybe forgiveness is possible, even after everything. But not yet. Right now, I'm protecting my peace. Right now, I'm sitting on my porch in the house my grandmother gave me, watching the sunset, knowing that I built something real out of the ruins. What I know now, blood means nothing without loyalty. Family isn't who shares your name, it's who shows up when you're invisible. It's who writes you letters you never see, who leaves you houses you never expected, who believes in you even when you've stopped believing in yourself. My mother tried to erase me, but she couldn't, because I was never defined by her approval. I was defined by the calluses on my hands, the words on my pages, the love of a grandmother who saw me when no one else did. And that's something no one can ever take away.